Hello, this YouTube video is about America's self-valued roles with the breaching method against our founding parents. Actually recorded. How it works is recorded. See, but we have to follow mandated law. It is common sense how you have to follow mandated law to be able to counter this that was using identities, to use fact treatment nature, for example, with black and white. That's why actually we have recorded self-valued physical delusions with only people allowed to speak on that. They need to pretend other, don't they? So they pretend to be against it for reasons, pretending it was about causes it wasn't. They're doing this now, Congress. They're doing this now, interbranch. Recorded and confessed and demonstrated, aware of their roles with predicate acts into databases and uses of them on off campuses of each age and nature connected, and with houses on corners, and including houses next to, and businesses next to schools of each age and nature. This is intercities, interstates, worse than interstates, kept intercities needing to hide life progressions with uses of whole departments, identities, each individual group difference, all the identities that work with New Britain Superior Court through time. Nothing personal. They need to pretend passions and emotions and pretend their beliefs about what we say dishonestly, because they already prevented mandated law criminally in collusion with that which was already further all locations, areas and states criminally foreign influence per this method that keeps that the outcome for what was always missed by everyone on off campuses, from off campuses of each age and nature, further on off it, keeping live progressions from that back to the law locations. There are a whole bunch of people I don't know at all and barely know that I only know from context they sought me out to make confessions, demonstration of their roles, influenced by others I don't know the names of yet. I thought I was going to take care of this a lot earlier, but they keep, since I was a little kid, attaching me and other little kids to fake locations and fake words, falsified police reports, and this crime method that prevents anyone written response. Because if they try to write out what they're trying to pretend, they know they're lying. We have Justice Department that was crimes with cases already every day. They can't have a case now and not be criminally foreign influenced. That's why and how they were used remotely. Since before computer definitions, since before electronic definitions of the word remote. They were used from live progressions. They were used as standing live progression cover-up natures. Those live progressions and those standing natures, they knew would be taken and kept to collusion with this, which is recorded effectively having been self-valued, even forced glorified. Pathology of infrastructure, not just tactically Native American denatured to overcome the Native Americans. Memory of what colonists A through Z and nations A through Z were already taken to. Rolls with this semi-ancient trap that came since before modern nations' religions. And the religious leaders greatly about law prevented free speech since founding, pounding drums. So we have criminal readings of the Old Testament. Little subtle things too, because this is positive and negative, where simultaneously misprision and corruption identities, individually grouped together on a mass scale, need to pretend their identities of jobs and locations are other than they are, needing to hide from mandated law that has their roles with sequence shifts, their roles typing fake transcripts into databases regarding what actually was recorded, communicated over wires, like the phones. Now they have the phones of the campuses in collusion with people on off campuses, even with sexual, even with drug crimes, where the doctor's supposed to be pretending to be against that, with the interbranch drug cliques and sexual circles. Know how everyone only meets online now, from my area. There are no clubs or anything like that. In those places where there are going to be interactions that they didn't anticipate, because they have their interbranch family members used as an identity of volume as criminal insidiousness nature, never legalized legally. Oh, well, if you want to debate that, you'll sue for it. Follow mandated law. They interbranch forging names and switching names. These are people on off Normandy Heights with foreign and domestic military families and military police and their family members. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with connected database organized crime acts rolls, wire crime rolls, UPS, post office, their family members, all victims, but victim predators. These are people I have to use the names of and get the names of, maybe, because I don't know. Because they're interbranch forging names and switching names and have been doing that since I was a kid, preventing writing criminally. That is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They have the judicial branch pretending that they're about treatments of statutes that they are never about. Because they've been, all locations, areas, the state's courts are an identity that can't hide its live progressions and follow the rules the way the law is supposed to be followed simultaneously, valued. So we have still criminally foreign influenced readings of statutes and writing of statutes, wording of them, specifically influenced by this. But we have to have mandated law followed. It is common sense that and how they were preventing mandated law when they had laws where colors were forced to be were slaves, when everyone had these database crimes against what everyone could say no. Their positive in treatment and negative treatments, no. Everyone's identity is a sick victim needing to react to all the negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures increasingly demonstrated by nature and demonstration of that. And this breaching method knew that they would blame other things other than themselves, knew that they would value collusion with all locations, areas, and states, that all interbranch, even as colonies before that, and right through that without them discerning. This was sophistication here. It was sophistication there before they were sophistication. This bonded nations individually grouped and together to defy as fact treatment where it counts, to defend identities, to defend fact treatment counters, relying upon premises treatments criminally foreign influenced, relying upon sequence treatments criminally foreign influenced, relying upon the order, the value of the finite, and each finite detail. See, each finite detail has ties to correlation. They have the phrase, the perfect world, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with state police, Wethersfield police, former director of the FBI, federal criminal co-defendants of his, and a whole bunch of other federal criminal co-defendants, various natures of overt criminal enterprises, reported, confessed, and recorded, and confirmed, and demonstrated involved with predicate acts on my street. Categorically recorded this way, kept needing to hide the same sequence shifts, finite lies, active lies, progressive lies, identity thefts, frauds, and worse than war crimes lies. Central Connecticut State University also has recorded, confessed predicate acts rolls, at least, and predicate acts involved through their stewards, like a detective Shamsu Siali pretending he was an arresting officer of me, forging and switching names with officers from a whole bunch of Wethersfield Police Department officers, forging and switching names with him and with officers from East Hartford, like an officer Magnanos, distinct from Officer Manos. But the officer Magnanos also made confessions, who was the arresting officer of me. But no, first it was through a promise to appear given to someone else, that they are also recorded involved with predicate acts against interstates. and worse than interstates from the World Trade Center attack context. These are people with ties to the World Trade Center families and victims, and the way they were tied to them, how they were sexually abusing the kids, like through a Joe DeMoro. I never had a class with a Joe DeMoro, and the exception when he came to my class with a there's a man named Mr. Pruzzi. He's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with people with leaderships of EMS and with military and with on-off Central Connecticut State University intercities through time, with the child campuses. I caught them with the resource officers, also with drug crimes, roles with untimely deaths, falsified police reports, crimes with child sex offenders, further with the principal child defenders campus. They also prevented such from being confessions also verified online and that from being told on over the phone by attaching me and other people to fake words, fake transcripts about what's recorded over the phone as wire crimes. These are also, again, with the same campuses intercity, with a whole bunch of people tied to former director of the FBI's co-defendants, Robert Luskin, and him and his lawyer, and the location of his lawyer's office, Farmington Avenue in Hartford, Asylum Street also. Now down to even how they have the traffic shift directions on that road. But this is also all the locations next to his lawyer's office with the people from my town interbranch and tied to them and their families. See, that was used and that's evidence. See, but they don't follow mandated law. So it is common sense how they never followed mandated law, how they couldn't afford mandated law to be followed when they were in the collusion of already still entrenched slavery. Our founding parents didn't entrench slavery here, and they didn't have the means. They didn't have the quality of free speech afforded, and they had words, natures of theater as criminal injustice forced on them. Now, them. If they tried to deny that, they would have been called out and hurt, and worse. And America and the whole world would have been worse. We're in the same trap, individually grouped together. And it is methodically, effectively having exploited and exploiting methodically how and why we are actually individually grouped and together. Three bonded, distinct, but simultaneously non-distinct and simultaneous identities of volume /S. I tell it best. This is science. So they need to have sense and sensibilities tied to identity ground, locations of sciences abridged. Worse than just self-valued. Dishonestly. Because the Constitution is abridged. They need to hide from it the hurt correlation nature. And its simultaneously inherent active and progressive means with sequence true no. Means beyond this. Please read the Santa Claus. Add E to S. I tell it best. Vaccines. Each of the letters of the English alphabet spell out a word. Each word spells out a sentence. This is a trinity bonded manifest, where and how their nature is value, and value is nature simultaneously. Making more of that simultaneous identity of volume that is that, as our own value, positive or negative to itself, automatically temporary positive. See, this is per science, this is evolution science, and it does not work without the ground, all gather round. That is evidence that in how we have self-value. Criminally foreign influence zoning laws. No, it's supposed to protect us. Misprision rolls with that. Lie progressions. Simultaneously, overtly, and sickly, insidiously, simultaneously. Whole bunch of experts, quote, unquote, with the north end of Hartford, for example, let alone the most forsaken cities. Even the suburbs of every identity ground location. Russia has the same pathology of infrastructure that we have here. Since before cars, since before our founding parents were born, with those slavery laws against everyone, no matter who you were, what pigment. They put the pigment in there in those games because these are internation, originally instilled, individually grouped and together, made them all victims, defending identity ground locations, roles with sciences where and how they serve an identity, roles with campuses from the ancient campus Marseilles criminally re-engineered, and further inter-sciences. Further database relationships private, inclusion with overt criminal enterprises. All these other nations stick together, hundreds of nations, A1 through Z, whatever, and bonded that by one method, one simple method. It is not by accident. No one ever connects. No one ever heard. Uses of the evidence /S that are manifest in relationship to contemplation of how and why they prevented mandated law, and how and why it was through juxtaposed ulterior motivations for evil, blaming other things, others themselves for the real cause of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, for the real cause of evil humanity, when it's not our real nature. Everyone's good people. Everyone is recorded sick. So they try to say who's good, who's not. And they have been needing to hide how they've been doing that by putting stacking databases with fake transcripts. So UPS has recorded, confessed, demonstrated. They need to pretend passions and emotions out of sequence. Because before I went to work there at Trinity College, and people on and off the state judicial branch offices and all along that route were recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with deans also recorded forging names, switching names. Crimes with courts, with their Facebook page stewards, with child sex offenders, also with other FBI and CIA. Not just former director of the FBI and his federal criminal code defendants and other federal criminals with connected roles, with predicate acts on and off my street. With the same house, with extended family members further than and now, with the principal child offenders campus, roles with predicate acts, as child abusers, and as other natures of child abuse, including how they have women roles interbranch, that through time. That's also recorded evidence. But they don't follow mandated law through time. They criminally prevent mandated law from being followed. They criminally prevent writing. They criminally have justices at the national level pretending other. Oh, then appeal and stuff like that. They stack and stack more names. Now, all the prisons, all the programs tied to the courts, with dozens of people from my town, interbranch, on and off the state judicial branch offices in my town too, on and off the state prison offices, Hartford / Wethersfield. Also, those people with that involved with this or database organized crime use the uses of how exploitations of how we are a value / value progression. They also hid confessions from one of the child sex, a whole bunch of confessions from people tied to the child sex offenders' families on the registry. There are also confessions regarding Wethersfield Police Chief's family and a Dillon family, and a whole bunch of people tied to the one with the extended family members further involved with the principal side child offender then. They preventing people from calling schools to report things. Same people pretending to be against gun shooting. Same people involved with crimes against the Soto family or involvements with them, with it. Now, these people are preventing mandated law. I never had a conversation with the Soto family in my life, but they are involved with a whole bunch of people at the end of the Berlin Turnpike. There are 3 locations at the end of the Berlin Turnpike with families recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the Fred Grisey and with people from Trinity College involved with predicate acts on and off their street with a whole bunch of names. I don't know those people. There's a Joey Quest who also with this Fred Grisey. There are proofs that FBI or CIA or police forms filmed me. I was there just for a moment. I don't know that kid was a part of a health class project I did too. They hid that criminally. Weathersfield, there was various natures of courts and their family members involved with people with private schools, like this Kerr family. Further, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with two Mendez police, and with the family of this Phil Cololo. Further, involved with himself, involved with predicate acts, identity thefts. I never had a conversation with Phil Cololo in my life. I explained the exception, how they try to pretend other, with one little exception, because that unfolds in courts. Because these are people with the crime method that was and is preventing mandated law consciously. Because they can't take correlation nature. They can't take free speech that is true. So they need to simultaneously pretend to be about true correlation nature, true justice. That's positive. Justice alone is negative value nature. There's no, especially when as criminal and seditious nature are positive. The counters are in collusion here, originally and still. So it is critical evidence. It is critical to logic. So we have criminally foreign influence logic experts, self-valued by these people you see on that TV every day. Hear many pray. But as already victim predators of only having seen this nature of theater, criminal and seditious, this nature of positive, per life progressions onto each age of campus. Further and further on and off them, interbranch, individually grouped together, misprision identities of life progressions. They need to hide that. They need to hide their uses of women with the abuses of little girls and boys. Through administrations, no. We still have the problems with child offenders. We still have the problems of them not letting people tell on people. It is recorded evidence, not because they're worried about the reputations of other people. Because they're making up allegations against the people who are talking about what's real. Not because of everyone would just be making them, because they do that. We have our judicial branches caught. They are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, pretending they should be sued, simultaneously forging names, having forged names, switched names, to prevent the right outcomes, preventing free speech from them. They attach me and other people to fake locations, fake words with WFSB, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. By the Morrow family, by a Kerr family, by a whole bunch of other people, families tied to this Cololo family, further involved with the Phil Cololo, with people tied to an O'Brien family, a whole bunch of people tied to an O'Brien family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. That we're going to have to seek your names out because you won't get me a response in writing. He's also recorded. They're also recorded involved with the Sandy Hook, Newtown, intercities, on off campuses, on off religious spots, predicate acts roles, wrongdoing roles with them. Remote uses of Congress roles. Not just by the breaching screen, by these breaching tools only allowed manifest. Methodically, originally and still. You think free speech spoke for Hartford, Connecticut? Not by accident they have self-aid. It's like truth. They attach lies to truth. So you see people talking about, oh, this is success. To be success, you have to just focus on this economic goal. No one cares about identity unless it's going to be a job or an economic bullshit. Follow mandated law for these cowards. Now this also shows them with extortion, not just against me, especially against anyone who tries to demonstrate the overt extortion recorded effectively self-valued upon each area, let alone the most forsaken areas. So we're going to examine Hartford, Connecticut, and Wethersfield, Connecticut, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously, from cities over, and Central Connecticut State University, how their predicate acts and roles with those individuals involved with that, who are involved with the north end of Hartford, regardless if they're there from there or what. They're in collusion with that. Each age and nature of campus, each age and nature of expert. Now, one of the ways they get away with hiding is pretend to be about maturity, because this is also where they have all social interaction spots involved with them with these identity thefts, frauds, and worse than war crimes and uses of them. Now these are also a whole bunch of people with the Casper family, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with Wethersfield, Interbranch, and with Hartford locations, and medical families involved with drug crimes with them. I don't know them. I never had a conversation with Chuck Casper. These are people with the clubs downtown Hartford, foreign and domestic families, Russian families, Ukrainian families, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with these two Mendez police, with a domain family, intercities, from on off the Wethersfield Police Department, on off Fox Connecticut News, crimes through time, all long routes. Oh, they just have them standing there. It's not a coincidence. We're not driving by. Now, these are also people with the UPS, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with this was the Oliveri family since I was a kid. His roles with the predicate acts, with the child sex offenders cliques, and tied to the same family, tied to the organized crime roles with the federal criminal code defendants of Robert Luskin, with the campuses I went to, each connected. Even ones I found out about when I was in I went to a school that closed in Wethersfield. House next to it is one of the people involved with them, and with this pattern, also at the corners of the principal child offenders campus. All uses of that. Also, all along the next to the middle school, further recorded, confessed foreign and domestic doctors. Now, so they have readings of statutes. If you walk by them and they say they perceive you're nuts or something like that, they give the benefit of the doubt to them. Statute doesn't tell them to make up fake words, fake behavior, fake recorded things, lie about what is actually recorded. Now, so a whole bunch of people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated through time a whiting forensics location is involved with the same house, with the extended family members involved with the predicate acts with co-defendants of former director of the FBI, and with the transition from ARCA to RICO, and with the people with legal body dumping spots, like at the end of the Berlin Turnpike, involved with this with this Fred Grisette, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with predicate acts on and off my high school. He didn't go to my high school though, but he lived right next to it, right next to the parking lot. He's also tied to people like a Yagman family, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved crimes with a Phil Cololo, with the identity thefts. He also pretended that he was a friend of mine behind my back to my parents. And he was like rude. My mother she didn't want to do business with him with real estate. Now, see, they also have the real estate involved with that. A Hanson family is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with these people involved with the child abuses and with drug crimes, formal and informal drugs, and with overt criminal enterprises on and off Church Street in Old Wethersfield. And these are also people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with criminal uses of the libraries, of where students are going to walk, especially if they're using correlation and not criminally foreign influence or indifferent to it as stupid like they make people. And then they call the people stupid. People who can't even speak up because I'll reveal they're degenerate, ignorant souls. I'll reveal you fake. You know, we have to be able to counter the women who pretend they're about maturity because of the men with them. We have some sick men, and they got away with it through administrations because of the sensibilities and the crime acts and methods and naturally recorded natures and lie progressions needed to hit of the women into branch. Dozens of people from the Britain Superior Court, dozens of people from Hartford Court, dozens of people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated out of sequence, but in Middletown also involved with that, leading up to and in the World Trade Center attack. They recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed afterwards. So you can't record police. Now, these are the Witness Protection Program, also has roles with forensics people in the past, with the same killers, reportedly killers, and body dumping spots reported for the body dumping spot of Billy Grasso. That our Faenza family also confirmed online. I only know them barely. As strangers sought me out to make confessions about their roles with judges and people on and off the state judicial branch offices, and with the Dillon family, who's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with my new and past neighbors with real estate crimes, with judges and prosecutors, with the Hanson family, with this Dillon family, and with my new and past neighbors. Also involved my past neighbors and them with on and off CCSU and on and off Trinity College predicate acts and roles, sequence shifts, other natures of wrongdoing and uses of untimely deaths, and of my name. Everyone speaking through others criminally. Now, the real or reported, the real or just made up untimely death of Hugh Ogden falling through ice in Maine is also recorded by a whole bunch of people involved with Maine, with medical organized crime, with the drug cliques, with doctors and with patients, and with deans, also with family members who have relationships with the doctors, whether they're in drugs, whether they're in the collusion together, kept needing to hide lie progressions together from beyond their control because they're used remote. This was perfected here since before our founding parents were even born. This is evidence of that, and how we have those pathology of tactically denatured Native American landscape, not just Native American, Native human landscape, engineered to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. Acts like predicate acts, natures like criminal and citizens natures, wrongdoers. So this is recorded. I shouldn't have to keep begging. It is evidence how they prevent mandated law and pretend others simultaneously. This is evidence of actually recorded misprision identities interbranch. Uses of it. Fox News, please do what's right. Give me a response for Fox Connecticut News before we have to go any further into this. This is also tied to the Nipsey hustle and sense and sensibilities. See criminal and citizen's nature. How fast Nipsey Hussle's portrait went up next to the building of Fox Connecticut News. Victims and or victim predator. Your choice. Follow mandated law. It is evidence how you haven't been. How you've been relying upon databases that are recorded consciously having been stacked. Categorically fake. CT must break. So also, what they affected the sense and sensibilities of the Ukrainian kid, young man, I don't know the name of, from repeating that he's from Ukraine, UPS. They affected me to go there because everyone's speaking to other native people, forging, switching names, like this Dean Alford with this Joshua Stryker I never had a conversation with, tied to this. The only contacts I ever looked like I knew him was with Oliveri, Eric Oliveri, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with organized crime through time with my neighbor, the one who's got the extended family members like a Scalora family and like this Phil Kalo, further crimes with Saudi families, with Kuwaiti. They don't even know. They don't even know. See, they have crimes together where they have shared policing that's called peaceful, only in relationship to contrast. This is again a breaching method against correlation nature, which has simultaneously inherent active and progressive means beyond their own with sequence true. This is where evolution comes from. Evolution's fruits and gifts. You add the E, letter E, to Santa's name, and you'll get the Santa Claus. We'll examine how this makes more sense than what they pretend is practical, while they're pretending to be adults. We'll examine their actually recorded uses of their family members, because that's part of the breaching method. This knew they were going to be standing criminal and serious natures, valuing fake positive and fake righteous justice, and fake righteous evil, overt, and our fake causes for overt evil. even when true. Those motivations are recorded effectively having been and being juxtaposed by one simple breaching method. Now your branches of government are little cowards. So follow the law for them. Here, follow mandated law. That's evidence. WFSB and Fox Connecticut News already confessed and recorded. They've been coached more further and further. They attach me to fake locations, fake words, fake ties to other people, fake sequence ties to them, with the courts at the same time. How could they defend free speech? They attach me to fake yelling with people I never had a conversation with, their families, like the Leahy family, with the drug crimes, roles with the untimely deaths, confessions from strangers with that, leading up to. And that's what brought up the child offender campus. They forced it for a sustained no. They forced it by putting fake transcripts of what's recorded over the phone, what's recorded over email, what's recorded. They have integrated Facebook pages with the FBI, with the CIA, with judges, with the police at the branch, criminally involved with child offenders, and ask them. That's evidence. They need to talk. They need to lie. Because they're preventing people from common means to defend ourselves. Pick one name in sequence. Get them on paper now. We will have our common means to demonstrate mandated law prevented in the north end of Hartford. What's your name? Tied to Wethersfield Pizza, too. Santos. Anyone know a Santos from the north end of Hartford? It's nothing personal. And I apologize. This Wethersfield Pizza, a Stephen Stocko and his wife from Central Connecticut State University, recorded and confessed, demonstrate, confirm wire crimes, mail crime rules, drug crime rules, database crime rules, identity thefts, 4 sequence shifts. I never knew them. I never knew Maria Vizino. I never saw Maria Vizino on one campus I ever went to, besides Central Connecticut State University. She's also recorded confessed involved with this by the neighbors, with the extended family members. They said a Violet family is involved with them, with this. And with the O'Brien family. Don't forget that up the street. Now there's an Ian, also with a Jen Kanapicki, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with foreign and domestic, and hiding their identities together in collusion there, something tied to the end of the both sides of the child offender campus, Highcrest School. Further, people involved further confessed and recorded foreign and domestic medical families, overt criminal enterprises, drug crooks, untimely death rolls, sex offense, sexual abuse of little boys and girls, on off the middle school further, the library right next to it. Respond for them. I don't know the name of the girl at Trinity College. With them talking, so then these girls try to speak. I don't want to use the names of the ones I know. They're preventing people from talking. And then if you talk, they exploit that because they're sequence shifting. That's when I want the name of that cop who said his name is Darth Vader. I want understood what force and might are contained by. What criminal ceaselessness is. Fake signs. All rise! Follow mandated law. I asked you nice first. You got a sequence shift. Talking about how I speak. Attaching me to fake yelling. Context I never yelled in. You get the names of my new and past neighbors. I don't know them. You're starting fights. Nothing personal against them. Any exceptions? I noted. You! Get me a name. Respond for the Dillon family and for the military, intermilitary, fluently, originally still, delusions raw, breaching tools that leveraged against our founders, for self-glorified. You fools! Or pretend you know someone who's mature, someone who's an adult. You get these names out of their minds. Get me a response. Follow mandated law for the news and the interbranch together, stacking predicate acts together, wrongdoing, sequence shifts, identity crimes. No! There's an identity crime, breaching method, exploiting how we are this nature of volume, individuals grouped together. You standing criminal and citizen natures. This method knew that it was going to make all standing wrongdoers criminal and citizen natures of identities, pretending other same time, getting away with it by reliance upon criminally foreign influence premises treatments, sequence treatments, fake positive with all locations. Blamed on other causes of that manifest. Oh, this person's a good person or not. That's all fake. You watch that tide with his recorded misprision identities interbranch all private tied to them and overt criminal enterprises, right in the same line progressions. Fake care. At the same time, fake justice, fake integrity. So we have little fakes. We have shifts, sequence shifts that reveal their physical delusions, uses of them remotely. These are World Trade Center attack crimes. Criminal use of the sense and sensibilities of those people they call experts. Manifest Washington, D.C., World Trade Center. That's manifest intercampuses, intercities, and intra-cities, and intercampuses and intra-campuses. Uses of that consciously. DACA was, is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Involved with marketing programs. Effectively involved with this fake, with these insidiousness natures of positive treatments, where no one follows mandated law. That's evidence. You speak for logic with criminal foreign influences. Their experts are delusions wrong. The military, you follow. Attention to detail. You follow mandated law now. Get them on paper. Get me a response for those with Central Connecticut State University. Required to confess, demonstrate, I never saw by people from off the campus involved with on-off campuses predicate acts. And with interbranch, on-off interbranch location predicate acts. Get them on paper now. They're invested in national fake sites, CNN, Fox News, fake sites of correlation nature, which has sites that are simultaneously increasing. That's science. You get them now to one true sequence. They also have, not by accident, the security for New Year's Eve in Hartford and in New York City, involved with my town's police chief, the one with the daughter and with the extended family members, with the other men and women sick on the child sex offender registry and tied to them with more predicate acts, and with doctors. Get them on paper. I know that comes just because someone goes in for a mental evaluation first. I told them I want a lawyer. I had no communication with these people and pretend I had conversation about police equipment and about police surveilling my father with the fucking FBI, fucking CIA families and their drug click sexual circles involved with those fucking federal criminal code defendants or former director of the FBI, criminally before those cases and since. Follow mandated law, what is actually recorded, get all the fake stuff out of the bad database, that's evidence too. They're hiding evidences. They're the only ones that can reach out. They're lying. They used Facebook for this. New Britain Superior Court has the last name K-N-E-R-R. I bet there's a Mike and an Eric. There's also a K-E-R-R family recorded, confessed, demonstrated by an officer, Jerry Miller. Right through this semester, I warned them. Don't keep sustaining this. You get me a response for the high school, for the school, the principals. They already forced the principal. They're forced to sustain more than now because we have prosecutors that shouldn't have done what they did. Get them out. These are the same people put in jail every day. People way less evil than them, way less faith, and with way more integrity of mind than they have. Get them done. Get them on paper now. Fox Connecticut News, WFSB, NBC Connecticut, Better Connecticut. Respond to mandated law. Respond, so I have to bring in the rest of your locations. It's nothing personal. They want that to happen so you guys can pretend that's personal. Just fix it. Fix the falsified police reports. Get me one name every sequence to respond to. The Britain Superior Court required confessed and demonstrated. They attach parents and kids to fake locations, fake words. They use their locations real sick through time. I just remind. They force child offenders and acts not to be told on they are actually recorded. Even sexual, even medical, and again, intermerge. Hurry up now! And don't beware when you speak about my behavior. That's evidence too. We're not allowed to record the police. I recorded them the way I want. It was legal. You guys leading up to the World Trade Center attack have relevant on off West Farms Mall, relevant on off Normandy Heights, on off gas stations near the end of the highway there, on off the religious spot there, on off that park there, on off the school there with a house with the drugs tied to the fire department, and with the confessions tied to the judges and the prosecutors also on off the court confessed, recorded and confirmed. Have them pick one name in sequence now. That was after. They confessed this stuff after. I caught them with a pattern of organized crime worse than war crimes leading up to the World Trade Center. As the ones from Connecticut intercities, organized crime acts rolls, illusions note, as the ones further on off the World Trade Center, on off the 9th Circuit right next to the World Trade Center, right before it was hit. Rolls with a whole bunch of more wrongdoing, tied to proven sequences, post-dated documents to appear late to the court, the panel of judges, right before the World Trade Center was hit. That was proven after. That led to a 2006 case also leading up to that case involved with the people leading up to the World Trade Center attack, preventing me from reporting the confessions tied to it before it happened though. They attached Saudis and they attached Kuwaiti to their roles with falsified police reports, with military families and their family members involved with my new and past neighbors. Just because they were my neighbors, I don't know them. And the other ones recorded. This is through time. All exceptions. I never had a class with them in high school. I just noted the exception. And that's with the Steven Stocco and with this Paul Zano. And they didn't bully me. And Steven Stockwell, he could have beat them up, but with some kind of weird. These are people on off Weathersfield Pizza. Also with predicate acts roles, wrongdoing roles. With overt criminal enterprises, people on off the state judicial branch offices. With people with Weathersfield campuses that are intercities, or Hartford campuses that are intercities with Central Connecticut State University, with Trinity College, predicate acts roles with them. Military, foreign, and domestic. Sense and sensibility, everyone speaking through others. You get me a response for them. They're wire crimes. I need a response for any of this. They put so many names involved. You get me a response. See Renaissance. Don't be cowards. Fox News National. Don't be cowards. CNN. Don't be cowards. MSNBC. Don't pretend you're not a coward because you rely upon people who sacrifice to go follow other people's orders that are sick. You do them honor by following mandated law here, now! And then you already failed.